You know, I've studied revolutions for my entire career. I've written about how empires fall and how republics collapse. But what I'm watching right now in Washington, this is something different. This is a counter-revolution, and it's being sabotaged from the inside. Let me tell you something that should terrify every single person who voted for change. Donald Trump is giving orders. The FBI has to do this. The DOJ has to do that. The Pentagon needs to act. And on paper, it all sounds good. But here's the problem. Every single one of those agencies is still staffed with the people who wanted him to lose. Before I go any further, I need you to do something. Hit that subscribe button right now. Become a member of this community. Because what I'm about to explain, the mainstream media will never tell you. We need every person who understands what's at stake to join us. So subscribe and let's walk through this together. Now, here's where it gets really dark. These left-wing bureaucrats, they're not just sitting there disagreeing. They have something much more powerful. They have foundations, huge foundations, the kind that can afford the best lawyers money can buy. The silk stocking, New York, Washington corridor types. And what do? They sue over and over and over again. Someone gets fired, lawsuit. An order doesn't follow the exact bureaucratic procedure, lawsuit. Trump tries to replace someone, lawsuit. It's death by 1,000 cuts, and it's working. You want to know why? Because Trump is trying to staff his administration with MAGA people, loyalists, people who actually believe in the mission. But here's the cruel paradox. The people who know how the system works, the ones who understand every trick, every loophole, every district judge who leans left or right, those people aren't MAGA. They're establishment. They're the old guard. Think about it. Bill Barr knew the system inside and out. John Durham, the special prosecutor, he was effective. But were they MAGA? No, they were conservative, sure, but they weren't revolutionaries. They played by the old rules. They had cocktails with the left after court cases. It's all one brotherhood to them, so Trump faces this impossible choice. He can hire people who know the system, but they won't burn it down, or he can hire true believers who will fight, but they don't have the experience to win against an army of lawyers who've been doing this for 30 years. And let me tell you what happens when you don't have that expertise. Look at what happened with Comey. They went after him. The case was solid. McCabe, his own subordinate, said Comey approved the leaks. But what happened? A jurisdictional mistake. The case got thrown out in a blue district. Will they win on appeal? Maybe. But that's months, maybe years wasted because someone didn't know which courthouse to file in. This is what lawfare looks like. This is how you destroy a presidency without ever firing a shot. Now, some people are doing incredible work despite all this. Let me tell you about Pete Hegseth. The media crucified this man. They said he was unqualified. They said he was dangerous. But you want to know what he's actually done? He's restored military recruitment. He's going after the people who gave that illegal video order, the one telling troops to disobey their commander-in-chief. That's a violation of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, Articles 88, 90, and 92, by the way. And Hegseth isn't just buying weapons from the usual suspects, Lockheed, General Dynamics, Raytheon. He's ordering 1 million drones. He's going to smaller startup companies, quantity over quality. He's actually innovating. Why? Because the Pentagon has a chain of command. There are conservative generals and admirals who are furious about how they were treated under Biden. So when Hegseth came in, he had allies. But the Department of Justice, that's a different story. Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, they have the hardest job in Washington because they're not dealing with a chain of command. They're dealing with a legal system that's staffed top to bottom with leftists. And those people know every trick. They know how to delay. They know how to obstruct. They know how to make one case take 5 years. Trump tried the Matt Gaetz approach. Burn it all down, get someone who isn't part of the club, someone who will actually fight. But those people, as much as they want to help, they don't always have the skills yet. They're learning on the job. And the left, they're not learning. They're masters. Let me give you a real-world example. I live in California. I just filled up my gas tank this morning. You want to know what I paid? Almost $6 a gallon. $6. The national average is $3. We have the highest electricity prices in the country, the largest number of illegal aliens, a $70 billion deficit. 1/3 of all welfare recipients in America live here. And what is Gavin Newsom doing about it? High-speed rail, $20 billion spent, not 1 foot of track laid. Solar plants in the desert that they have to dismantle because they don't work. Battery plants that blow up. It's a disaster. We're losing 300,000 people a year, and we're replacing them with people on Medicaid. 40% of Californians are on Medicaid. 50% of all births in this state are paid for by the government. And you know what Gavin Newsom talks about? Donald Trump. That's it. Just Trump, Trump, Trump. He's using the exact playbook: distract, sue, obstruct. And it works because he keeps winning elections. Now, people say Newsom is slick but stupid, an empty suit. I'm telling you that's wrong. He's dangerous precisely because he knows exactly what he's doing. He's been in power for 30 years. City council, mayor, lieutenant governor, now governor. His fingerprints are on every single disaster in California. And if he becomes president, he will do to America what he did to California. So here's what Trump is facing. He's trying to fight a counter-revolution with people who don't know the terrain. And while he's doing that, he's got another problem. He's distracted. Listen to me carefully. Foreign policy victories sound great. Nobel Prizes sound great. Ending the war in Ukraine, saving millions of lives, that's all noble. But let me tell you what history teaches. Foreign policy triumphs cement a president's legacy in the last 2 years of a second term. Not now, not in the first 2 years. Look at Obama. He was unpopular in 2014. His party bled seats in the midterms. But what did he do? He pivoted. He focused on foreign policy. He golfed. He stayed out of domestic controversies. And he left office with 52% approval. He'd been down to 37. George H.W. Bush, first Gulf War, 4 days, 91% approval. Everyone said he was a shoo-in for re-election. And then what happened? He ignored a mild recession. He raised taxes after saying, "Read my lips, no new taxes." Bill Clinton said it was worse than the Great Depression, and Bush lost. George W. Bush got reelected, but Iraq destroyed him. He wanted to privatize Social Security. That was politically insane, and it killed his second term. You see the pattern? Flashy foreign policy wins don't matter until you can't be heard anymore, until the last 2 years when you're not facing another election. Right now, Trump needs to focus on the economy, period. And you want to know the crazy part? Even the Wall Street Journal, which despises Trump, is admitting he's winning on the economy. They said in March there would be a stock market collapse, a recession, higher interest rates. Now they're writing articles saying we were wrong about the tariffs. $10 trillion in foreign investment is coming. The economy is booming. So why isn't he hammering this message every single day? Because he wants the Nobel Prize. He wants the legacy. But if he doesn't pivot back to the economy, he's going to lose the House in the midterms. And if he loses the House, he will be impeached 1 week after they're sworn in. They will subpoena his children, his business associates, every single person who ever sold a Trump watch or crypto coin. It will be Hunter Biden on steroids. Now let me talk about something that's causing enormous pressure right now, immigration. Because this is where the counter-revolution is actually working, but it's also where it could all fall apart. Trump's team went after the worst first. 500,000 illegal criminals, mostly from Venezuela, Latin America, the Caribbean, hardcore felons. They've deported almost all of them. That was the easy part. Nobody argues about deporting murderers and rapists. Then they move to the second tier. People who've already been through the system, they got deportation orders. They didn't show up for their hearings. There's a legal warrant on them, another 500,000 people, and they're working through that list now. Still relatively uncontroversial because these people broke the law twice, but now comes the hard part, the third tier. These are people they bump into while looking for the others. Someone's at Home Depot looking for work. ICE shows up for someone else. They ask for ID. Person doesn't have papers, been here 10 years, speaks perfect English, never committed a crime, not on welfare, just trying to feed their family. What do you do with that person? The MAGA base says deport everyone, all 30 million, no exceptions. But here's the political reality. Some of these people came as babies under Clinton or Bush or Obama. They're 25 years old now. They don't speak Spanish. They They don't know any other country. You would never know they were illegal. There are 3 or 4 million people like this, and Trump is under pressure to do something smart. Not amnesty, nobody's talking about amnesty, but a green card program. Pay a fine, $5,000. You get a green card if you've been here 10 years, you speak English, you're working, you're not on welfare, and you've never committed a crime. Is that ideologically pure? No, the base will hate it. But is it politically smart? Absolutely. Because it takes the wind out of the left's sails. They can't use the sob stories anymore. They can't say we're heartless. We gave people a path. The ones who played by the rules get to stay. The ones who didn't, they go. But I don't know if it's going to happen because Trump is caught between what's politically necessary and what his base demands. And while he's trying to figure that out, the lawyers are filing motions. The judges are issuing stays. The whole machine is grinding to a halt. This is the reality of the counter-revolution. It's not failing because Trump is weak. It's not failing because the ideas are wrong. It's failing because the system was designed to resist exactly this kind of change. The bureaucracy, the courts, the lawyers, the foundations, they're all interlocking pieces of a machine that protects itself. And the people who know how to beat that machine, they're not revolutionaries, they're insiders. So Trump has to choose. Does he fight with true believers who might lose, or does he compromise with insiders who might win but won't go far enough? I don't have the answer. I'm just telling you what I see. A man trying to change a system that was built over 70 years to be unchangeable. And every single day, he's fighting with one hand tied behind his back because the people who could untie it aren't on his team. So what do? We stay informed, we stay engaged, we demand accountability, we support the people like Hegseth who are actually getting things done. We call out the Newsoms who are destroying everything they touch. And we remember that this fight doesn't end with one election or one term. This is generational. I need you to do something right now. Subscribe to this channel, hit the join button and become a member. Leave a comment and tell me, do you think Trump should give green cards to the people who've been here playing by the rules? Or should everyone go back, no exceptions? We need to build this community because the fight we're in, it's not just political, it's existential. It's about whether we're still a republic of laws or whether we've become an empire of bureaucrats. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring about the future of this country. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.